in this highly competitive market, our buyer clients are having to do all things necessary in order to make sure their offer is standing out from the competition. Sometimes that means offering substantially more earnest money and or ensuring that that earnest money deposit is non-refundable. So today, this morning, I want to talk to you all things earnest money. We have a few scenarios that we want to talk through. Also, I want to discuss changes to our Columbus Realtors purchase agreement, which I think is going to be to your benefit. And lastly, a new way that we're going to be able to receive earnest money from your clients. So first, we all know what earnest money is, and we all know what it means. We know the process of how it's deposited, and we know how the client gets it back. But a big question, and what we're seeing regularly now, is the term non-refundable earnest money. So essentially what that means is your buyer is basically saying, we're essentially going to give you $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 just to accept our offer. And if we choose to terminate, Mr. Seller, you get to keep that money. Well, the challenge with non-refundable earnest money deposit, if it truly goes into the brokerage's trust account, makes it a challenge for us to release those funds unless all parties sign a disbursement of earnest money deposit form or a mutual release. Even though the words non-refundable are listed in the purchase agreement, if we don't have a document signed by all parties, unfortunately, those funds cannot be released. So what does that mean? Here's what I suggest. If the words non-refundable are related to earnest money, that earnest money deposit should be paid directly to the seller. And I know that seems weird, but if it's non-refundable, it's non-refundable. Just give them the money now, right? And ensure that as you're writing the purchase contract that you are clear that you want the earnest money deposit to be credited towards the buyer's purchase price at the time of closing. So it's kind of like you're giving the seller their $5,000 right now, and then you'll give them the balance of their funds in the future. So there's no reason, if the words non-refundable appear in your purchase agreement, that those earnest money dollars should be coming to the brokerage and deposited into our brokerage trust account. They need to be going to the client directly. And your client needs to understand non-refundable means non-refundable, regardless of conditions, regardless of reasons for termination. They're basically paying the seller to accept that offer. So we are seeing more and more of this. We're also seeing heftier earnest money deposits in the market space. Long gone are the days where our clients could go into contract and only give $1,000, $2,000. We're seeing upwards of $5,000 to $10,000 as an earnest money deposit. The next thing, which is actually really favorable for us, Columbus Realtors amended the purchase agreement, paragraph 12, to basically indicate that now we can choose to handle the earnest money in one of several ways. We can give it back to the buyer at closing, we can reduce that earnest money deposit from our commission, or we can pay that earnest money deposit directly to the title company. This is a huge help for us. And effective May 1st, we're going to make a change to our policy to where we will now no longer reissue earnest money checks. We're going to have those deducted from our commission and paid. We'll use that as the commission dollars that we will bring in. Now, don't freak out when we say reduced from commission. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're now out $1,000 or $2,000. It essentially means the title company, let's say your commission is $6,000. The brokerage already holds $1,000 as earnest money. You're going to get a check for $5,000. We're then going to combine the buyer's earnest money and the title company's check to create the full amount of commission. We've been doing this for a while now. It's not a new thing, but now it's part of our purchase agreement, which allows us to do it on every transaction moving forward. So May 1st, mark it on your calendar. You will no longer have to come in and pick up an earnest money deposit check to return it to the buyer. Lastly, we are moving away from our traditional ACH policy where we send our clients a document in dotloop and ask them for their accounting information so that we can pull those funds from their account. We are now moving toward a more digital experience for those folks. We will send them a link. It is extremely secure and encrypted where they can put in account information, and a third-party vendor will be storing and processing those payments on our behalf. So Watch out for more details on that. If you have any additional questions about all things earnest money, feel free to reach out. Have a great week.